So this is going to be a process guide on how to effectively start doing CRO from the beginning. If you're a brand owner, if you want to do CRO for your own brand, if you want to do CRO for other brands, this is a bit of a process guide. I will not go in depth on every step, but it's more of a process guide on how to do it effectively, and how to start doing it, and how to have a clear flow of things that you have to do. And let's first start by defining terms and goals. So the term CRO is a bit I wouldn't say it's incorrect. I would say it's incorrect, because CRO stands for conversion rate optimization, as you may know. But the goal here, at least my goal when I do CRO for DTC brands, is this one here: get every customer to be as valuable as possible for the brand, so that we can scale traffic to the moon while leveraging ad spend to the max to increase profit margins, AOV and LTV. At the end of the day, traffic is king. We want to increase traffic, but we don't want to increase traffic at the cost of customer value, sale value. We want to scale traffic, because obviously traffic is what drives revenue, but we want to keep every customer, every single session that we get, as valuable as possible. So this is the goal. We want to scale traffic to the moon while leveraging ad spend to the max to increase profit margins, AOV and LTV. So how do you do this? We do this with CRO. The first question you should ask yourself, when doing CRO is, do you have more than 30k sessions per month? Why this? Because traffic is king, as we said before, and data is king. If you are at less than 30k sessions per month, you don't have enough data to have consistent and statistically significant results to make decision based off of those. 30k is a conservative number. I could put this even higher, maybe 40 even. You could start even from 20 is a bit of a risky number. You could start doing CRO from 20k visits per month, but as a good rough number, I'd suggest at least having 30k sessions per month. If you don't have 30k sessions per month, you could start doing CRO, but it would be preferable you do other things that I outlined here. So here we have yes or no. If you answer no, the first thing you need to do is get to 30k sessions per month. How do you do that? Obviously, to do that you need to increase your ad spend, or if you're doing organic, you need to increase your volume of content. But yeah, get to 30k a month, and while doing that, set up your brand for CRO once you get to that mark. How you do that? You install tracking tool and get accustomed to those. So heat map tools, analytics tools, all those tools that are needed to track data, to have data on what's happening to your brand, to your store. You need to install those and get accustomed to those. They will help you massively when you start actually split testing. Install testing tools and get accustomed to them. Depends on what platform you're using. There are a lot of options here. For tracking tools, you have heatmap.com. For heat maps, I think it's the best option available. For testing tools, you have IntelliGems, you have convert.com. You have a lot of other options, but I use mainly those two, IntelliGems and Convert. They are the best options available. And another thing here is what I help brands that are at less than 30k sessions per month, so like 10, 20, 30 sessions per month. What I help those brands do is improve what they already have. So we usually build custom landing pages for those brands. We usually improve their current store. We don't test, we just improve on what they have. We build them customized by boxes. We build them customized lenders to try and get them to 30k sessions per month, while not completely sacrificing their metrics to get there. But what you can do is this: if you are not yet at 30k sessions per month, you can do those 3 steps to get yourself ready for CRO once you reach that mark. So you did all of this and you reached 30k sessions per month. Great. You have 30k sessions per month? Yes. Do you have data? Next question you need to ask yourself is, do you have data so that you can start A/B testing off of it? What do I mean by data? It's defined here: ICP research, customer experience, usage, so heat maps, reviews, analytics, offer research. Those are just some of the some of the pieces of data you need to start doing conversion rate optimization. It's a lot of stuff. All of this data, it's a lot of stuff. You don't have to be like an expert in all of this to start. It's not required. You just need to have like a grasp on what's happening with your brand. So what's the flow of the customer from when the first point of contact with your brand from to when they buy. And all of this data, you collect that through the customer experience, and all of these pieces of data are like different nuggets of value, like different nuggets of info that customers leave around when interacting with your brand, that are the golden nuggets we need to do what CRO is for. And so you need to ask yourself, do you have the data? If no, you need to do what I call you need to do research. To put it in simple terms, I won't go into detail here, but to put it in very simple terms, if you don't have data, you need to do research. How do you do research? You start gathering the data. Here is the data that I defined before. So you install tracking tools. If you didn't already do that, when under 30k per month, 30k sessions per month, you install tracking tools to get accustomed to them. Go more in depth on your ICP. This is the main piece of data we need. So who is your ICP? What does your ICP want? Why does it want it? And how does it want to solve the pain point or the problem they have? This is the main lever we pull when doing research and when doing also optimizations and split testing. We need to know what is our ICP, who the person is, what does it want, why, and how. You need to answer those questions for the type of person you want your brand to interact with. And then research other offers in your niche. For example, research other stores that are in the niche you are. Research other brands that are doing the same thing you're doing. We don't want to copy here. We don't want to copy anything from other brands here. You just want to get accustomed to what other brands are doing, just so you have an idea of what's happening in your space. If you don't already, this is for brands that don't have any idea of what they're doing and are just selling products. Do a little bit of research, because data is what we need to start testing. And then once you gather data, you go back here. Do you have data? Yes. And so here we can start the optimizations process. So our end result, as I said, the goal here, increase profit margins, AOV and LTV, so we are able to scale traffic. First step of that is building hypothesis. How do you build hypothesis? This is how I do it personally. After you've gathered all of this data here, you open up a Figma and you put all of that data there. I use Figma as it's my preferred tool. I'm using Miro here to show this diagram. You can use Miro, you can use whatever platform you prefer. I use Figma because you can do a little bit of everything there. You can do images, you can do text, you can do whatever. So I use Figma for that. I import the page or the store I'm going to test with HTML to design. It's a Figma plugin that you can use here. I'll show you. So here you can put the link of the page you want to import into Figma. Put the URL here. Select what sizes you want to import, and you just import the design here along with every piece of data that you have that you're going to build hypothesis with. I just put everything in Figma so I can have a clear picture, like the big picture in front of me when I'm doing hypothesis. And then after doing that, here, come back here to Miro. After you've imported the pages with HTML to design, you activate your brain, very important step here, and crank out comments. So I'll just share with you here. This Figma here is the Figma of an actual brand I'm doing CRO for. And as you can see, what I did here is the page I'm testing on is blurred here, just to not show what the brand is, but you get the idea. I just drop comments. This is just a brainstorming step that I do while having the store in front of me and the data. Then I just brainstorm ideas while leaving comments on the Figma, so I can like have a trace of what I'm thinking of, and I drop them exactly in the spot where I think the idea is applicable or the hypothesis is applicable. And every hypothesis has two main things. A title, you need to give your hypothesis a title, a goal, and how you're going to achieve how are going to achieve the change you want to do. And you just like drop comments all along the page. You just leave comments all around, and you do that like without thinking of like reviewing them or like thinking if they make sense or not. You just leave comments one after the other. You just drop as many ideas as possible one after the other. And then let's go back here. Second step is prioritization. So as I said here before, every test needs to have, every hypothesis need to have a what, a why, a how, and an expected outcome. And then once you have a list of these hypotheses with these four properties here, what, why, how, and expected outcome, you need to prioritize. How are you going to put in an order the hypothesis you just left? So you assign an impact score to every hypothesis. I like to do this 0 to 10. And this depends on what you intend to change or the percentage of customers interacting with it. And as I posted about before here, I like to divide the test between macro and micro. Macro tests are tests that target offer, presentation, and targeting, and all of the hypotheses that don't target one of these are micro tests. What I mean by this, you need to prioritize based on the impact that the hypothesis could have on the brand or on the store, on the page. Obviously, if you're going to test offer, presentation, so how the offer is presented, or targeting, who you're targeting with the copy related to the offer, it's obvious that it's going to have more impact than just changing an image or changing a visual or changing a piece of social proof. It's obvious because that's what most of the customers that will land on the page will interact with. For example, presentation, how you present the offer. If you have a bundling section, how do you present the bundling offer to the customer? It's obvious that if you're going to change that, you're going to have a higher impact than just changing maybe the copy on the call to action. That's not to say that micro tests are less important than macro tests. They are just two different types of tests with two different impacts on results. So you need to prioritize based on impact, what is going to have the most impact, what is going to have the least impact. And usually the tests that have the most impact are the tests that target macro, so offer, presentation, and targeting. So keep that in mind when prioritizing your tests, and give a score 0 to 10 or 1 to 10 for impact. Then once you have that, you should have a list of hypotheses with a what, a why, a how, and an expected outcome. As we said before, you should have an impact score for every one of them, so you can prioritize them from least impactful, from high impactful to least impactful. And so once you have that list, you take your highest priority hypothesis, and you start design and development for that. If it's content testing, obviously, if you're testing offer, or let's say, for example, you're testing pricing, you're testing shipping thresholds, you're testing stuff like that, you don't need design and development, depending on the tool you're using, obviously. But if you're doing content testing, so you're changing stuff around, layout wise, so presentation wise, in the page, you need design and development. On the same Figma, that's what I do. I design my hypothesis clearly in detail. That helps a lot when I jump onto the development. And then once you design it, you hand it off to a developer to build. We cover this for our clients, for the DTC brand that we work with. We cover the entire process from step 1 to step 5, including data analysis and tracking. We cover all of the steps 1 to 5. So it's a bit of a dump for you. But yeah, if you're doing it alone, you need to hand it to a designer and a developer to build it for you. Then once you have that, step 4, as I like to call it, run the numbers. So run the test, open intelligence or tool of choice, the tool you choose to run the test, set up the correct tests, the correct test type for your hypothesis. There are different types of tests here. There are a few listed: A/B testing, multivariate testing, split URL testing, or even AA testing to test if your setup is correct. Check preview 100 times. Don't do the mistake of just running the test without checking if actually the controller variation are being separated and the users are being separated correctly. So check previews to see if the changes are happening correctly, and then just click on run and let the test drip. And then step 5, this is a step of itself because it's very important. People forget this, brand owners forget this. Don't stop the test early. Data is king, and if you stop the test early, it's worse than not running tests at all. Why? Because you're going to run assumptions on results that do not have enough data to back their significance. If you don't have enough data, you can make decisions that are statistically irrelevant because you don't have enough traffic. Enough traffic hasn't decided if the decision you're taking is the correct one, is the one that will actually make your brand scale forward. So do not stop test early. Even if they're losing, let them gather data, let them rip a bit before stopping them. And then one thing you can do to try and understand what's the time frame needed for a test is use significance calculators, so you can understand what sample size you need to make sure that the test is at least significant with the results. And then last step, finalize. When it's time, stop the test. Ask yourself questions. Here we want to gather even more data. This is regardless of the test, if the test won or lost. Why did it win, lose? What could have gone better, worse? Can I adjust my strategy for the next test off of the data I gathered from this one? And then here you decide if you want to pivot or if you want to keep the changes. If you want to pivot or if you want to discard the changes, and once you do that, once you answer those questions, once you decided if you want to discard or pivot the changes, you now have new data again that you can refeed into the system and build a hypothesis again from. This circle is never ending. This is the circle of optimization. The more data you get, the more hypotheses you can build and the more stuff you can test to get even more data. And all of this is backed by traffic, because remember, traffic is king. Customers decide with their money what is the best iteration. So this a cyclic feed of data that feeds into hypothesis, that feeds into new data that you can leverage as many times as you want. And all of this to achieve results like this. So for example, these are the results that we achieved for one of our clients. Revenue per site visitor here, 73% increase, and an AOV breakdown that shot up $900 on the variation we built. This is a macro test. So one of the it targeted presentation, so we didn't change anything about the offer, we changed the presentation of the offer, and it yielded those results that are completely in line with the goal that we defined here in the beginning. So increasing the traffic as much as possible while keeping profit margins and increasing AOV and LTV. So hope this is useful, helpful if you're a brand owner and you want to start doing CRO. It's a bit of a complicated process. It takes time because you need to analyze data, and then it's you need to follow a lot of steps to actually get to the point where you're running profitable tests and tests that make sense. If you don't want to do that, or if you don't have the time to do that and you want to focus on your core business, you can send me a DM and we take care of this process for you. But yeah, hope this this brief guide on CRO was helpful, and I'll do more in-depth tests, more in-depth guides in the future on every step of the process, so you can get a grasp on what it means to run every one of those steps.